Hey, buddies, PotatoMcWhiskey here, and welcome to Civilization 6 Gathering Storm. I've got a huge amount of UI mods installed right now, and you can check those out in the link in the description. Also, did you know that I play Dungeons & Dragons on Tuesdays with a bunch of really cool guys? You should go check out our Patreon and perhaps consider supporting the show. Today we have a really interesting game setup for you guys. I'm going to be playing as Tomiris in a religion game. Now, I'm going to be doing a religion game with a few custom settings to spice things up. First of all, we'll be playing on a shuffle map with 10 hand-picked custom leaders. And every single one of these leaders has some sort of religious bonus or is just interesting in its own right, like Pachacuti and the Inca. Mansa Musa has a religious bonus. Hojo can do religion. All these civs have some sort of faith or religion bonus. So I'll be up against civs that have really, really good biases towards getting a religion and having good faith output. We're also going to be playing with abundant resources and legendary start positions, as well as a hand-picked selection of city-states that includes all of the religious city-states and then 2 of each of the other ones that would support a religion victory in an interesting way, like for example Fez, that gives you science per population when you convert a city to your religion for the first time. We've also picked a whole bunch of natural wonders that all flow naturally into some sort of faith bonus or religion victory, like Mato Tapila gives you faith, Mount Everest gives you faith, as well as a bonus for your religious units. Otherwise, that's it. We're not playing with any modes. We have barbarians turned off to give the AI a little bit of an easier time. And that's it. We're getting ready to fire on all cylinders. Here is the game seed and map random seed if you so wish to follow me along in this game. Let's get started, and let's hope that our first roll on our start location is decent. And this is a pretty decent start location that we found. We have access to pearls, which is a great source of early faith and potentially opens up some interesting choices when it comes to trading. Perhaps harbors are in our future. I'm kind of tempted to move off of coast even so. I mean, it's hard. I play coast so often. Let's do a little explore. But I'm kind of tempted that maybe if I get a little bit closer to this sheep, I can do more with Kurgans. And speaking of Kurgans, it's probably about time that we talked about Scythia's bonuses and what makes them such an interesting religious civ. The first bonus that makes Scythia a really interesting civ for religion victory is Killer of Cyrus. All units receive +5 combat strength when attacking wounded units, and when they eliminate a unit, they heal up to 30 hit points. This actually applies to religious units. So Scythia is incredibly good at spreading her religion across the map using apostles and missionaries because of this combat strength bonus. Now, when it comes to People of the Steppe and Sack a Horse Archer, this really doesn't give us much benefit outside of just having era score and a way to deal with barbarians early. But the reality is I turned off barbarians for this game because turning barbarians off makes it easier for the AI, so it'll be a little bit more of a challenging game. We also have the Kurgan, which is a fantastic improvement because it gives you +1 faith and an extra faith when you have a pasture adjacent to it, and another +2 when you have stirrup. So in total, you could be getting 1 to 3 faith per Kurgan, which is 1 to 3 faith per population in your city. So pretty damn good. Probably won't spam too many of these. It's not a bad building to spam, but it's not like the most important thing for me to keep up with. So those 2 bonuses together make Scythia a fairly formidable religious civ. Now we do have to think about, where are we actually going to put our first holy site? And what's our opening build order here? And where do we settle? Because one of the problems that we have is, normally when I'm going for a religion game, I will actually go for a fast settler. But I don't have in my immediate starting location a 2-food tile. And that lack of a 2-food tile will actually hold me back here. But I do have a +1 faith tile. Now the reason the 2-food tile would hold me back is because if I don't have a 2-food tile, I can't grow quickly enough in time to research the holy site and get a settler. Right? That just becomes difficult. I could go for River Goddess here as a benefit. The appeal on my tiles isn't the worst. So I'm kind of tempted. Here's where I'm thinking, right? I could either settle in place and rush, some form of astrology, sailing, celestial navigation, and go as my early game collaboration of gold, food, and faith, right? Go heavy on the coastal style game, which is, probably entirely viable based on this map that I'm seeing. The other option is to move inland 1 tile and just get a holy site somewhere reasonably okay, like maybe next to the desert, go for desert folklore or something like that, or place the holy site to maximize faith from Earth Goddess. Then I would have a 2 food, 1 production tile, which would allow me to grow, and then a 1 food, 3 production tile, which would allow me to produce, potentially even go double gypsum here fairly early to crank out my holy site and stuff like that. This is a very, very tough choice. I could also cross the river and move up towards the sheep if I wanted to grow really quickly. So in my mind, there's actually 3 viable city locations for me at this current level of knowledge of the game. And each of these city locations is going to change how I play. Now, the one downside of kurgans is they can't be placed on floodplains. So that's something I have to keep in mind when I'm going to be placing my kurgans next to this sheep. However, they can be placed on desert and stuff like that, but you really don't want to be working kurgans without food early game. So this sheep is actually kind of useless to me when it comes to kurgan. So I think that like adds a -1 to my choice towards going towards this start here. And, you know, coastal plays are okay. They're not the worst thing in the world. We could do something like, if we settled here, we could actually go for a godlike mausoleum in this city. I know we go for mausoleum every single game, but it is a way, like wonders are a viable way to consider to generate science and faith and culture, right? So we could do that. I think I don't go settle towards the sheep because of the fact that it doesn't have fertile land around the sheep for me to make use of the kurgan effectively. And I think moving inland, I think is a better play in the short term, in my opinion. Like, this feels better short term, and I do feel like the return on investment for moving inland here is huge. And what, like, if I don't settle coastally, what do I lose? I lose 2 adjacency on my harbour. Is that really that big of a deal? I don't think so. Not when I'm already on fresh water. I could also theoretically move 1 down southeast if I really wanted to. It's kind of I get the same start location as here, but like a slightly better harbour. And no potential for floodplain flooding, improving my tiles. There's also something to consider here, is that we are playing Scythia, and I think Scythia has a bias towards starting near horses. So if we were to research animal husbandry, one of these 3 flat plains tiles would have a very high probability of having horses on it. And if it were to spawn here, and I were to commit to this location, that would be a complete decimation of my mausoleum plan. So I'm going to actually move southeast 1 tile. I lose 1 pearl in the long term, but I think I end up with a better harbour. I have no option for growth, so settling is going to be slightly delayed to this game. However, I could go for some sort of food-based religion to help make up for that. But the other consideration I have to think about is I'm settling on a hill here if I stay in place, which is way more production, or a hill here. So yeah, I'm actually changing my mind now again. I'm actually tempted to move inland. This is just a way more flexible start location. I think we move inland. This is just way more flexible as start location. Like if we look at the tile quality around this area, it's like 1 2 1 2 1 2 or 1 1 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 1 1 1 1, and then I move here and it's like 1 1 2 1 1 1 1 3 1 1 2 1 3. Like the quality of tiles here is so much higher than here. And in fact, you know what? We picked up an extra pearl, so it's not like that big of a deal. Now, if this gypsum wasn't on a hill and I could move to it and settle next turn, I actually would totally consider it. We do actually have access to another sheep down here. I'm tempted to move another tile onto the gypsum. It's really tempting. But I'd move away from my early food source is the problem. So I think this is the compromise. I think we settle in place here and we take our compromise city. Now, in terms of the first item I'm going to be picking up, I'm going to be grabbing myself 2 scouts. I want to go 2 scouts, a settler, and then a holy site. That's my plan for the early game. So for now, I'm going to be like every turn, I'm going to be switching my city's production between these 2 tiles to try to maximize like the lining up of getting the scouts finished and my population growing. Because right now, I would finish 3 scouts before my population grew. So I'm going to have to do like a little bit of micromanagement to make sure that that the 2 scouts finishing lines up with the pop growing so I can build settlers. That's a 3 food tile now. That opens up options depending on how much gold I get early, actually. I'm actually going to rename it to the City of Compromise because it was a compromised starting location. A lot of desert up here to the north, as well as a couple of luxuries that I might be able to take advantage of. I'm going to send my scout to the south, and there is a city-state here, which is kind of a bit of a double-edged sword because I was hoping to settle in this direction. That's just the unfortunate reality of being forced to make decisions with limited information. However, spotting a city-state and the potential for me to be on my own island now has reduced my desire for a scout and increased my desire for a monument early. And I'm going to go ahead and work the gypsum because that'll finish growing and the monument at the same time. I think the monument holds more value than a scout at this point now. There's Yerevan. Yerevan is a religious city-state. They want me to train an archer. I'm getting +1 faith from them. And they allow my apostles to choose from any promotion instead of receiving a random one. This is one of the most powerful religious city-states for Scythia in the entire game. So I got incredibly lucky there. That's going to make my religious pivot here is going to be really, really strong. I have spotted tundra, so I know I'm very, very south of the rest of the map. That doesn't bode well. My land quality would have been greatly improved by being coastal here. I gambled on the fact that there would be decent land here, but that's not going to be the case. I'm going to have to rely heavily on coastal cities, which I'm not a big fan of when I'm going for a religion game, because it's a lot of infrastructure to pump out before a coastal city is on par with a land city. You just have to build so much stuff. I also haven't found a single tribal village when I'm pretty sure I left tribal villages on, which is that's like extreme bad luck. We got our monument, we have our pop growth. I can crank out 1 settler before I'm ready to build my holy site. It'll only take 8 turns. This didn't line up perfectly, but it lined up okay. And the early monument will help because I'll potentially get some bonuses that'll make my life a little bit easier in the early game. There's our first tribal village. Perfect. Lovely. There's Code of Laws. I'm going to go ahead and plug in Survey. And I'm already getting faith. Where am I getting faith from, actually? That's a good question. I'm getting faith because I've met Yerevan. So I don't necessarily need God King to get my Pantheon. I could get my Pantheon a good few turns earlier, which would allow me to pick a better Pantheon. Alternatively, I could pick up Urban Planning. I do have a monument plugged in, so I wouldn't be locked in to the bad card as long as I normally would be. Like, if this was a relic, I would just about scream, oh my God! I actually have the god luck. I'm actually a god. I was born different. I was built different, okay? That was the easiest relic predict in my life. Easiest. It was like, I actually just won the video game. Never mind. This just made this decision so incredibly easy for me. We plug in Urban Planning, we plug in Survey, and we continue. I don't even know why I doubted it. Any doubters? Did anyone doubt? Pre-recorded, scripted? If you don't know, by the way, we're playing this live on twitch.tv/PotatoMcWhiskey and on YouTube. I don't even know where to go from here now. This just feels like cheating. I think our ultimate goal is to get the political philosophy relatively early here. There is something to be said for going for an early mysticism to get a fast, because we did go for the fast monument. So if we kind of rush down the mysticism tree here, it could potentially pay a little bit of dividends in terms of great profit points. It really depends on how things work out. I'm going to head towards foreign trade. So we have absolutely garbage land. We have like this really weird start where some things have gone incredibly well and some things have gone incredibly poorly. Someone just listen. If somebody donates $1,000, I'll sell the relic to an AI. Okay, I'll delete the relic if you can. I'm not off to the fastest start when it comes to era score, so I don't know if going for a fast Kurgan here matters. We might go for a classical. We might go for a medieval golden age, because then we could like hold off on building the Kurgan and the Saka Horse Archer for the medieval era and get a medieval monumentality build going. Maybe I don't know where I am on that one. I do think unlocking horses at Scythia is pretty important. We have the pick of the litter when it comes to pantheons. The real question is here: which of these pantheons really makes a difference for me at this point in the game? I mean, part of me says God of the Sea, it would make my coastal, but I was trying to avoid going coastal, but I've kind of in this weird compromised position now that's making my life a little bit more difficult. There is something to be said for going for River Goddess here. Desert Folklore has been taken, I believe, as are a lot of the early pantheons. God of Craftsman could be really good here, depending on how many horses I roll, but yeah, man, it could go really, really poorly for me. I think I want to look for something with real consistency. Divine Spark is a lot of like faith throughout the game, and it also helps you with getting your religion. Stone Circles might not be bad. I do have access to at least 1, 2, maybe it's not that good. Man, this is actually really, really tough. This is a really, really hard choice here. I do feel like Divine Spark is like the safe pick. So I'm going to take Divine Spark just because it gives me a little bit of flexibility if I do want to get a campus later. We're going to go ahead and heavily, heavily push Great People points here, because essentially Divine Spark is like +1 faith per holy site, right? because great people points gets converted into faith later on in the game when there's no more great people to get of that category. So that just overall is an upgrade to my holy sites in general, which is something that Scythia kind of sorely lacks. Now, the real question is here, which direction am I settling? Am I settling for value now, or am I settling for value later? That's a tough choice. I reckon I need to settle my cities very, very densely. That's the reality of the situation that I'm in. I feel like I could settle up here on this near or on this rice and get pretty good value. There's definitely 2 cities up here. Maybe adjacent to truffles would be a good early city. We could do something with that. Or I could come down here and focus on getting these pearls improved. I really want to focus on getting holy sites. So maybe I'll settle right there. I think I'm going to settle on this Plains Hill right here and then rely on a harbor. We just do not have good land quality. That is one of their biggest problems we're having right now. So some sort of excursion onto the water is going to be necessary. We have to think about where we place our holy sites and how we're going to get our adjacency. Our holy sites are just not going to have very good adjacency this game. That's something I have to accept. I have no mountains. I say we just, since the adjacency of this holy site is like unpredictable, we just throw it down in the first logical place that we can, because there's probably other people. Yeah, people have already started earning great profit points, so I don't think I can delay any longer. I don't have the opportunity. I don't have the like ability to delay anymore. And what I'm also going to do is try to force growth in this city by buying a high food tile, deworking this, and spending a little bit of time. I'm trying to just force the city to grow a little bit faster, because like it's going to take 14 turns to grow otherwise. I think we could grow in 5 and then get that payout really, really quickly. The difficulty here that I have is my land is just so low quality that actually planning districts is just not actually a thing that I can really do. Like there's nowhere to plan districts, there's nowhere to put them. If I was playing this offline, I definitely would have re-rolled this as like an awful start. I've lost games with better starts than this. Now, the one downside of this city is it's not going to have very good early growth. However, I will be going for fast builders and improving these pearls, because that's just a lot of really good early game faith. And maybe I can do something with monumentality there. My hope is for a medieval era monumentality to get me back into the game right now. I don't think I'm in a great position. And in fact, I think I'm in a terrible position, but I think I can pull it back. If I can secure a monumentality golden era in medieval, I think I can pull it back from being a total loss. So the first great prophet has already gone, which is not ideal. One of the 5 religions in the game is already gone, which is super not what you want to hear. When Stonehenge was built. Okay. That's good. So due to the current status of great people points, many people are on +2. And I think Arabia is actually in this game. I can't go for a shrine. I don't have the time. I have to just do holy site prayers and hope that that's enough. Now, do I continue to try to grow this city, or do I pump hard? Well, we do have double pastures here, so that's kind of okay long term. Man, I could go for a builder. I could go for a trader. A trader wouldn't be gold wise. It's hard. The problem is the shrine doesn't pay off quickly enough, and I have to do holy site prayers. But the question is, what tiles do I work while I'm doing those holy site prayers? Do I try to get the city to grow into faster production? Do I buy another horse tile? I think I buy horse tiles here. 3 turns slower on growth, but it's a difference of 2 production, which I think actually comes out as a wash this early. But I think double horse here is huge to help me climb my way out of this hole. Another big problem I have right now is I haven't met any other players, so I'm not able to sell like my delegation stuff and open borders and things like that in the early game. That's going to be a big problem with me. I'm not getting early religious pressure. We did just jump to the top of the list in terms of religion. However, that doesn't necessarily mean much. Remember, we're in a game with like all religious civs, so we can't mess around when it comes to getting our religion. I totally forgot that we're not playing a civ that has an early wildcard, so I unlocked mysticism for absolutely no reason at all. Oh, sometimes you just have a brain fart. I'm just going to say it right now. Sometimes you just forget how the game works. There's sailing, so we can now start building these fishing boat tiles over here in Kuloba. So I'm planning on a Dark Age Classic and a Heroic Medieval. That's my hope here. Pyramids have already been built. We finished another holy site prayers. We still can't go for the shrine. We are top on the great people charts, so I think one more holy site prayer will secure me a religion, which will let me breathe a sigh of relief here. There's Lao Tzu, the great prophet. We shall recruit him. We are going to get second religion. Unfortunately, Feed the World has gone, and I was kind of thinking about taking Feed the World. So we're going to have to think about a religion pretty hard here. We'll call the religion Tamar's Last Wish using the turtle icon, which is my favorite one. So we're in for a bit of a tough game here. We're in for a very tough game, and we have to really think about how we're going to climb out of this hole. Now, A reliquaries play is open to us here. This would give us a ton of faith right now, and potentially with the addition of Yerevan, I think it is, we could potentially get a lot more relics as the game goes on. But I don't think that's really a play I want to make as Scythia. Unfortunately, my holy site adjacency isn't high enough to really make work ethic work. I'm trying to think. None of these things really do anything that I want. Choral music is just a good default. It's a lot of extra culture. My land is so terrible, I might need to just take choral music. That'll allow me to get to late game faith generation stuff quite a bit easier. I think I'm going to take choral music. I think I just need it. Pilgrimage is quite good. I think I'm going to take Holy Order this game. We're going to be spreading the majority of our religion using apostles, especially in conjunction with Yerevan. So Holy Order is just necessary for me to secure right here. And it also means we can evangelize our religion a little bit earlier. And we can choose to evangelize our religion a little bit earlier this game because we have no neighbors. So nobody's religion is going to really threaten us early. If I was thinking there, I actually would have delayed founding my religion until the next era for the extra 1 point. However, the one downside of that is someone else might have beat me to one of the beliefs I wanted. So I think the decision I made here was totally reasonable. Shrines, like my land is so bad and shrines are so good that I think I go shrine over settler. Unironically, I think I just go shrine over settler. There's Norway. Nice to meet ya. That is useful. He is at least somebody I can trade with. And that's good for me to have because I do have luxuries that I can give him. His science and culture is absolutely demolishing me. And he probably already has his own religion because he has 400 faith in the bank already, which is ridiculous. But he will buy my pearls for 6 gold per turn, so I'll sell those to him. I'm going to need to get horseback riding this game, so I pretty much have to start researching it immediately. And now I'm worried about Norway coming over here and settling my northern island. So I'm a little bit worried about that. Let's improve the horses. That'll give me access to a boost for horseback riding, as well as 2 horses per turn that I can sell to Norway, and +1 production in this city, which is quite a nice boost. So here we are with the classical era, and we only need 20 points to get a golden age here. So that's absolutely what we're going to be doing. We're going to take Exodus of the Evangelist so that spreading my religion has extra value for me. I can spread it to Yerevan and compromise pretty quickly here, which is absolutely what we will be doing. Once we have this shrine, we'll quickly pick one up. Even the AI wouldn't settle this land. I unironically agree. This is absolutely garbage territory. And we have our shrine, so we have a pretty good culture. So we can start now cranking out those settlers. Norway wants to buy my horses and he'll give me a decent amount of gold for it. I'll take that deal. I'll probably just be selling my horses to Norway essentially continuously here. We have access to state workforce in the government plaza. My hope is that that is relevant for me. I don't have enough chops to make Magnus worth it. Pingala could be really good for helping me catch up in science and culture. Moksha is also not too bad for religious spread. I'm not worried about spreading my religion right now. I think I just need to get myself back into the game. So I'm going to pick up Pingala and plop him into Compromise City for the extra faith, for the extra culture and science. All right, we converted Yerevan, which gave us +2 era score. And it was also the first time I converted it. So now they follow my religion. They did want me to build, if I check my envoy quests here, they wanted me to train an archer. I'll probably like purchase one or build one or something like that this game to get that envoy, because it would be nice to be suzerain of them. That's extra Diplo favor that I can sell to Norway. So I think training an archer will be something we do. Now in Pearly Gates, the real question is here, I don't know how the city's getting more production. That's the real question I have here. Unless I like place a mine here and work it. You know what I mean? I will need this city to build a galley and maybe an archer. And I have a limited number of turns with which I can get all that done. Essentially, I should play like I have only 35 turns in this era. And I think the galley now is my only real option for exploration. So picking up the galley now is a good idea. In 3 turns, I'll switch in the double production card. So maybe for now, instead, we'll just work on a holy site. God, I hate these holy sites. They're so bad. But like my holy sites are so terrible. I don't think I have any option but to try and build them slowly. These are legitimately some of the worst holy sites I've ever seen in the history of Civ, ever. Boom, there's Pearly Gates converted, which is giving me really good era score. I mean, I'm pretty sure. What wasn't Switzerland in the Holy Roman Empire? You guys have Frederic. All right, there's early empire. So I'm definitely going to definitely change my government here. Like colonization would be good. I need those settlers out. More than anything though, I need to just get political philosophy in a reasonable amount of time. I totally forgot. I can't believe I did it. I can't believe I forgot. I forgot to change this card to the galley card. My God. Let's take culture on Pingala to try and get us back into the game with a little bit of meager culture that we can crank out. We will improve the quarry for the gypsum. And since I don't really need those amenities, I might sell them to Norway. 4 gold per turn just does not feel like enough for gypsum. So, I mean, I'll sell it anyway because I'm that kind of guy. Norway definitely thinks my seas are all too easy to raid right now, which is not ideal because he is in a golden age. I'm going to send these next 2 settlers up north. And I'm primarily interested in growth in the short term here. So the positioning of the city matters a lot because I'd like to get 2 cities up here to take advantage of these coastal tiles. The rice also being a 5 food tile is huge for me. I'm thinking of settling on this forest, although that's like my only production tile. Maybe on the rice could be huge. 1, 2, 3. And then maybe adjacent to the truffles. So I think I'll go settle on the rice. It's my best move up here for the north. There is the potential Giga Campus over here. That's a +6 right there from a single district. Norway's already here exploring me, which makes me uncomfortable. He's already got a scout on my landmass. And the reason it's getting +6 is because there's 3 reefs here. A good way you can tell if there's reefs up in an area that's in the fog of war is look for the production symbols. If there's production symbols on the water, that typically means there's reefs. So there's 3 reefs here, which totals up to 6 science. I could theoretically get 3 cities up here if I were to settle on this really good reef tile, on the truffles, and then on this. But they would be 3 really bad cities. They would have really low quality land. And so I think I want cities with slightly higher quality and then hope that I can settle my way out of this issue with a medieval golden age, or heroic age rather. There is an island over here. So once I have horseback riding, I pretty much want to rush shipbuilding. Our settler is in place. Let's go ahead and pop down on the rice tile. Now the advantage of settling on the rice, the marsh does get consumed, but it means the city center has 3 food, which means this city will grow relatively quickly compared to other cities. It will need builders over here fairly quick before it just like reaches its pinnacle and then like stagnates. But that's something we can do because we have like a huge gold line. So I can immediately purchase a builder in this city, get these horses online, make a difference, potentially get some amber online, sell that to Norway as well. I think this city has potential thanks to the situation that I'm in. That's one of the things you got to do. Sometimes you just got to find value where you can get value. And right now I don't have a lot of options for good value. So I'm taking it where I can get it. Is a monument important enough for me to build, or would I rather build a trader or something? Monuments feel relatively important to build. So I'll grab that monument. It's a lot of culture. There's our nice, delicious horses over here. 3 food, 2 production tile. That's a really, really good start off for this city. Now that we found horseback riding, that's another +1 era score. We'll immediately get to work on shipbuilding. We'd like to be able to cross oceans when the next era comes, and we'll convert the city as well. So we're already up to 14 era score, and we're only a few turns into this era. So we're not doing too badly. The potential exists here for this to be at least not a completely trash game. We have our new government, and man, is this a game for autocracy here. +1 to all yields in my capital. Do I go for Classical Republic here? I feel like Classical Republic is just better in the position I'm in. I do have to keep maritime industries plugged in here, but I can flip it out when I'm done building my galleys. I could theoretically plug in something like monasticism if I wanted to. This is an overall profitable trade for me, but I'm not sure that's what I would do. I think Charismatic Leader here will help me out when sending envoys to people. And I think that's our setup. I think we go for colonization, urban planning, Charismatic Leader, and maritime industries. We're just going to try and settle as many cities as we can here. Convert them to our religion. Speaking of converting them, I will need 1 more missionary. Let's improve the amber and then immediately go ahead and sell it to Norway, and he'll buy it for 4 gold per turn. That's a huge amount of gold per turn. It's really carrying us now. A city-state has been defeated, which is a little bit unfortunate, and somebody took... Oh, no, nobody took sovereignty of Yerevan, actually. I'm wrong. Let's also go here and sell off as many horses as he's willing to buy, and he bought as many as he could. So I really need these galleys now. So let's come in here and switch to galley production. 10 turns for you and 9 turns for you. I need both of these galleys out for the boost for shipbuilding and also to find people to sell things to. The lack of having things to sell to is a bit of a problem, actually. I'm kind of tempted to actually settle south of the truffles, but this city is so terrible long term that I don't think I can muster myself to do it. All right, let's settle over here beside the truffles. I don't think I do have truffle tech, so I can go improve that. We're up to 19 era score. We only need another 12. And we have 8 in the bank with regards to the Saka Horse Archer and the Kurgan. So I think we're on track for a heroic age. And the real only missing part of that puzzle is shipbuilding. And the hope that there's actual things to settle out there. I have enough gold now to get myself another builder. It's not a bad move. I have options with regards to what I could buy. I could also just buy a monument in one of my cities. Norway will pay 4 gold for my truffles as well. I'm just selling off all of my luxuries for as much gold as I can get over time. And my hope is that that overtime gold will pay off dividends for me. Here's the thing. Do I keep settling? These are objectively terrible cities, but do I keep settling? I don't think so. I think we try to now secure extra value and era score. So if I build an archer, I'll be able to get suzerainty of Yerevan. That seems good. And then if I also build a builder, I might be able to make something happen there too. There's a 4 food tile here, and now that I'm not building settlers, the city's population won't be tanking. So I think prioritizing food in this city is the right move. And over the long term, we'll start working out these slightly lower food tiles. I think we settle later with monumentality at better value, and then we bank to get our government plaza in here. I probably should have, if I was playing this correctly, I would have done a little bit more planning, and I would have put a government plaza here, and then like 2 holy sites adjacent, and then this would have been 2 plus 2 holy sites or whatever, which would have been pretty damn good. Like not terrible, but better than what I have right now. I think I was kind of on a brain fart. I could always do government plaza in between these, but I don't know. There's our first galley that's worth 2 era score, and now we have more or less secured our heroic age. I'm going to just like pop down here for 1 turn. Yeah, it looks like it's just all ice down here. And most of our exploration should be directed up here towards the north. Yeah, this is huge. Okay, this is a big turnaround for us if we can get the a good faith line going heading into the next era. We'll soon have theology for temples. I've got 11 turns, essentially, to get my faith up to the point where it'll matter in the next era. That's not a huge amount of time. Even if this is a small island, getting 2 extra cities is actually huge for me this game. Okay, Norway likes me now because I have a big navy, aka literally 2 galleys. 2 galleys. Your navy is huge! I feel like Norway has navy dysmorphia, right? He doesn't know what a big navy looks like, so he just thinks any navy is just huge. There's another player over here. I can't tell who it is. We have access to theology, so we have temples and holy site adjacency bonuses, but we're not going for holy site adjacency bonuses. We're going to take out maritime industries. We're going to take out colonization. We're going to plug in literally anything that gives me value right now. Builder production could be good. Man, I really don't have good options here. Isolationism is fine because I'm not planning to train settlers. I could buy a trade route and make use of it. Then otherwise, I'll just take a 30% production boost towards builders. And what I could do in my capital. Which of these cities needs the most help? Probably the city I'm about to settle. So I'll buy a trader in here and trade with my capital city to improve it using isolationism. Now that I have access to theology, I can think about what my next steps in the game are. I want to be thinking about governor titles and envoys and era score and exploration. I think getting to monarchy here would be pretty good, and then following it up with a quick reformed church wouldn't be bad. A fast civil service, if I could get a religious alliance with Norway, that would be terrible this game. I think I'm going to go for recorded history here because I want that governor title. The cool thing is that Yerevan has pearls, so if I can maintain suzerainty of that, I can sell off every single copy of my pearls to other players in the game. And that'll represent a huge portion of my economic output, like selling off those luxuries. I don't currently have a plan for mausoleum. I really should. I mean, I need to get this government plaza in my capital. Pearly Gates just has absolutely horrible production and no growth. I mean, if I can get my capital to high enough population, I might be able to do both in here. Man, mausoleum just doesn't feel good enough for me this game. I know that sounds absolutely insane to say that. I can't settle my city because of isolationism. Oh, that'll be fine. I'll switch it out next turn. It'll be fine. I forgot about that. It happens. Oh, I forgot to check who this player was. He wants my Shroud of Turin. I'm going to refuse that deal. You know what? I think I will go for I'll go for the mausoleum in Pearly Gates. This is the best harbor I have, and so I'll see about putting a mausoleum on this 1 tile island. It is expanding into hills, so we could do something with that. This turn I need to. Oh my god, that's so expensive. I wasn't expecting 200 gold. But we're suzerain of Yerevan now, which is a big deal. I just wish Yerevan gave me a little bit more than like a trickle of faith. Man, I have so much I need to build in the city. But this city's production will escalate like at a ridiculous rate if we continue to allow it to grow. Norway will buy pearls for 12 gold per turn. It's like an insane deal for me right now. Mansa Musa is a big meat here. Not only is he absolutely huge, but we can actually potentially make friends with him. The potential for trade here with Mansa Musa, this thick boy, is incredible. We can sell him the pearls because we're getting pearls from Yerevan, and we can also sell him literally all of our horses for 14 gold per turn. Thank you. How do you feel about Diplo Favor? Norway pays better odds on Diplo Favor. So I'm up to 58 gold per turn from selling things to the AI. Now, I might only be able to get 2 cities onto this island, but I think that's enough for me to get back into the game a little bit, because I should now start finding more land, because there should be a lot more land than what I've found so far. considering how many city-states are in the game. Let's pop in here. And I hate to do this, but I will pay the 200 gold to get rid of isolationism. And I guess I'll plug in conscription just for a couple of turns. And then found the city. Boom. Yes. I will purchase a trader in here and then immediately get to work on literally the best holy site in my entire empire, a +1 holy site. I don't care so much about culture right now as I do about getting my faith. So holy sites are pretty much my #1 priority in every city except Kralix because I want that city's borders to expand a little bit. Did you just pay 200 gold to settle a shit city 6 turns earlier? Yeah, I'm down bad, dude. I'm down bad, okay? It's not going well. So I'm going to go ahead and buy... Oh, they're 400 gold for a sack of horse archer. That's actually way more expensive than I thought. I'm going to have to chop out a sack of horse archer here. I thought I had more gold and more time. Maybe I can sell open borders for raw gold now. Yeah, I'm down bad now. I thought I had a little bit more time to get my horse archer out. I might be able to squeeze it out. Let me think here. Yes, actually, with 5 turns of 64 gold per turn, I think we can do it. I think I would like to unlock iron now because that's another resource I can sell to the AI to claw my way back into the game. Ooh, we met a city-state and we found a gradient dust storm. Who is the city-state that we met? I'm like, oh my god, Auckland, your galley is so far away. However, finding Auckland here is a pretty big deal. I will be putting an envoy into them in the near future. And they also want religious conversion. So that's something we can consider doing later on in the game. There's our second holy site up now. And Shrine is only slightly more expensive than a monument, but still gives me the +2 faith. So we just rush monuments now and hope that our faith gain and culture can get us out of this hole that we're in. Mansa Musa does not have his own religion. So if I can get a couple of converters over there early, that could change the game for me. There's Armagh. Beautiful, beautiful. We were the first to find Armagh somehow. And they want me to train a sack of horse archer. So that's actually perfect. I'll be suzerain of them in no time. They also give me access to the monastery, which could be big for me too. Also, I'd like to point out that this was on legendary start. And I got an absolutely trash starting location. Like really just hot garbage. So I need to be staying really, really careful on like timings on how much gold I'm getting because I need to buy a sack of horse archer the turn before this rolls over. And I also need to make a Kurgan. Both of these players are willing to be friendly with me. And I think that might not actually be a bad move for me. Considering how far I am behind, being able to be friends with these guys will buy me the time that I need. Also, potential 1-tile island, although it's -11 loyalty, never mind. There's more open land up here towards Armagh. We could have a long, thin, sneaky empire. I can get 104 gold from Mansa Musa this turn, which secures me the sack of horse archer. And securing the sack of horse archer is +4 era score, which puts me 1 era score away from finishing. And then if I just find a continent... Okay, I didn't find a continent. That's unfortunate. But maybe the city-state meet will actually boost me here. So I may not have to commit. I may not have to commit towards using my Kurgan era score this era. But I can make that decision next turn if I can get +1 era score from something. Maybe taking suzerainty of Armagh would do it. There it is, +2 era score. So I can save my Kurgan era score for the next era, which is perfect, like +4 era score. Amazing. Norway is actually converting to my religion. This is huge for me, actually. Let me have a look. Did Norway get a religion this game? Norway did not get a religion. So I could potentially get a religious alliance with Norway, and that would make a big difference for me. So I don't need the Kurgan here. I don't need the monastery. I think getting the government plaza over the temple is the right move here for me. I'm going to send my sack of horse archer on auto explore in the hope that they find something useful. I think though that's us now in the medieval era and we'll be able to secure ourselves a very, very strong heroic age. We're definitely going to be picking up monumentality here. That is just a huge value move, as well as Exodus of the Evangelists potentially here. I could also go Penbrush and Voice for that little bit of extra culture across my empire. It's really just down between Free Inquiry or Exodus. And I feel like Exodus here is nice because it does that +4 great profit points gives us the +4 great profit points here gives us a little bit of faith because that'll get great profit points gets converted into faith. And if I say I run out of faith to buy settlers, I can crack out just a couple of missionaries and spread my religion a little bit in the late game of this era. So I think with this heroic age locked in, an absolutely terrible start location under our belt, but with a glimmer of hope on the horizon in the form of some land up here to the north. And I might add, it's not very good land. But there is a glimmer. There is a very, very tiny glimmer of hope here that we can get ourselves back into this game. That's going to be it from me. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.